Now, a sampling of past, present, and future from David Pogue.
The Smithsonian's Arts and Industries Building was America's first national museum. It opened 15 years after the Civil War. It's where generations of visitors got their first look at artifacts like Edison's light bulb, the Spirit of St. Louis, and rocks from the moon. For the last 18 years, the building has stood empty and abandoned. But now, it has reopened with a new show, whose theme offers a neat counterpoint to the building's rich history.
So, welcome to The Futures.
Oh, wow.
We made this really deliberate decision to make the plural to sort of pop the S.
Oh.
So that just as you walk in, you're immediately hit with this idea. It's the future. No, it's the futures.
Rachel Goslins is the museum's director.
There is a lot of technology in this exhibition. We look at how might technology make us safer, smarter, more inclusive, more connected.
Curators Glenn Adamson and Monica Montgomery showed me a jetpack that was futuristic in the 1960s.
It was featured in James Bond films. It also was used at the opening of the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles.
And this flying taxi, which still seems futuristic today.
It's designed for very congested urban situations. That's why the vertical takeoff and landing is so important.
Grand Central, and step on it.
And then this Hyperloop car.
Oh, I know what this is. This is the Hyperloop, mass transportation, clean and green, 670 miles an hour, the speed of an airplane, but on the ground, New York to Washington in 25 minutes. This is awesome. It's like, honey, I'm just gonna run to California. I'll be back in an hour.
But there's also a surprising amount of art here, like this dancing cactus.
23,000 toothpicks.
Oh, it's like a sea urchin dance partner.
This bedazzled memorial is called the Grove.
So this echoes urban memorials that you see oftentimes when people are killed or slain.
And then there's Capsula Mundi, a prototype for a new burial technique.
And this, believe it or not, is what the future of death positivity looks like.
Are you telling me there'd be a person in there?
The remains of a person, not a live person.
Okay.
You're kind of ashes to ashes, dust to dust, and back to life.
Art is emotional, and we are emotional about the future. So it made sense to have art in this building as we're asking people to think about the future they want to live in.
This interactive sculpture sits in the central rotunda, where Edison's light bulb was on display over 140 years ago.
And now it's your light bulb.
And now it's my light bulb.
The artist is Suchi Reddy.
Give it a word for your future. Say, my future is whatever you want. And it will translate that into these light patterns.
All right. My future looks busy.
And voila, a tiny, one-of-a-kind light show.
There you go. That's what your busy looks like.
There have been attempts to exhibitize the future before, the World's Fair in 1964 and Disney's original Epcot. But in those days, the future represented hope and utopia and technology that works. I don't think that's how most people think of the future right now.
You're right. So what we're trying to do is, I'm not going to say get back to the techno-optimism of the 50s and 60s, because that was problematic in its own way. And it left a lot of people behind. And it missed a lot of consequences. But to get back to that feeling of hopefulness and possibility with a little more nuance.
Do exhibitions like this get reviewed? Are there museum critics?
I care less about what the museum critics think and more about what the families who come in think. That's the part I'm really excited about.
The show opened in November, free to the public. And these critics love it. It's not a permanent exhibit, right? So summer next year, it's over. Then what do you do besides go on vacation?
I'm going to crawl under my desk and sleep for, 6 months.
When the show closes in July, the building closes too. Again. This time for a few years' worth of upgrades. Until then, Rachel Goslins welcomes you to ponder your futures.
It's not a traditional exhibition. We don't go deep on anything. But what you will find is this kind of buffet of interesting ideas and provocations and questions that hopefully help you get smarter about how you think about the future.
There's a podcast in your future. David Pogue's Unsung Science, sponsored by American Queen Voyages.